name is Liz Partsch.
And I am Paul Rowley.
And welcome to Farm and Dairy's weekly rundown, guys.
We will be giving you a rundown of the news of the last week. That didn't have any sort of melody or anything to it. I apologize.
Yeah.
Or tempo or whatever the term is. But anyway, we're here. We're here to tell you about the news. And there was news.
Yeah, there was news.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to kick us off.
Please.
So last Tuesday, I spent the day in the sunshine at Hellbender Preserve in Bloomingdale, Ohio.
Nice.
Yes, very fun.
Yes.
I was trampling through a gravel path in the woods to cover the state of Ohio's Envirothon on June 2nd. And that is the story that graces the front of our auction cover this week.
Nice.
In case you want to know where that is. So yeah, it's an annual state competition for ages 14 to 18, and it's held every year after 5 area competitions held in April. The top 4 teams from each area move on to the state competition. And this year, the Envirothon had a theme of non-point source pollution. The theme really just tests students' knowledge on the environment. So teams at the state competition made a presentation identifying a solution to a scenario where non-point source pollution, water pollution was present. And they also take tests at 4 stations during the field day. Each of these tasks make up the team's final score. So both the presentation and then these tests that they take in the woods count as their final score. And the final team then moves on to the National Envirothon, which will be held in Mississippi later this year.
Nice.
But yeah, so I covered the field day on June 2nd, where students visited 4 different stations, forestry, soil, aquatics, and wildlife. And at these stations, students observed the environment around them to answer questions on a test. So for example, at the aquatic station, students stood on rocks by Cross Creek Stream, identifying different parts of the stream that were marked by a stick, while students that were back in the woods measured trees to identify what species they were. So these were some of the questions that the students had to answer. Many of these students actually use this experience as a fuel for future career in environmental sciences or agriculture, including one student I talked to. His name is Gage Thompson. Thompson said the Envirothon is helpful because even though it focused on environmental sciences, it can translate into other sciences, including animal sciences, which he plans on studying in the fall at Ohio State University.
Wow.
Also, ironically, after I talked to the students, the team that Gage was involved with, I said, good luck, I'm rooting for you. And they ended up winning the Ohio Envirothon. So congratulations.
Wow.
Lynchburg.
Yeah.
I think that's Lynchburg High School, Clay High School. So
Nice.
congrats to you guys.
Very cool.
But yeah, and then also many former Envirothon attendees end up working for the Soil, Water, and Conservation Districts, NRCS, which is through the USDA, and ODNR, Ohio Department of Natural Resources. And many come back to help the event. I talked to multiple people who now work professionally, have careers in this type of field that, remember going as a kid. So that's really cool. And the CEO of the Ohio Federation of Soil and Water Conservation Districts, which helps run the event, I talked to their CEO, Janelle Mead, and she told me that this is her favorite event every year because it just gives her hope that the next generation will care for the environment. So I thought that was a really cute thing to say.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I felt when I went. Wow, literally just a gorgeous day.
Yeah.
I just also highly recommend visiting Hellbender Preserve. I didn't mention it in this little summary, but I do mention a lot more information about that specific area. The Jefferson Soil and Water Conservation District has actually spent multiple years, kind of creating sort of like a attraction for people to come visit. They have beautiful trails, and they have this really cool, at the end of or along this trail, there's this beautiful stone bridge that enters a tunnel. And this stone bridge actually has a really interesting story. It goes there's a creek that goes right underneath it, and then there's all these beautiful benches you can just sit, and history signs. And this bridge in particular used to be a wooden bridge. And back in the day when Abraham Lincoln before he was president, one of the pillars of this wooden bridge fell off before his train was about to cross. So yeah. So they made everybody on board, including the president and his family, walk across this wooden bridge. And they were like, okay, the crew and the conductor, yeah, you guys might die, but, we're going to see if you can get to the other side to continue this travel. So the train did make it, but Abraham Lincoln almost did not.
Wow.
He almost fell, I think it was 37 feet
Oh my
and plummeted to his death before he got elected as president.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a super crazy story.
Yeah.
And then he would go on later to kind of commission this stone bridge, probably because, he realized it was a safety hazard after falling off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just had a really cool story, and it was a really beautiful day. So go and check out the story on our auction front. Some really cool students and just a really cool event. And like I said, it's just nice to see young people getting involved,
Yeah, I
caring
love
about the
it.
environment. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, well, cool. That is so neat. I'm going to do something a little how much unconventional. I'm actually going to give you a preview of next week's auction story, only because it's relevant to what you were just talking about. Which because
Hmm.
I looked at a big old train today.
Love.
And it was really cool. And I've not written this at all, so I'm just riffing here. But I will just say that I believe that it is in tandem with the 250th anniversary of America. If you haven't heard, she's
If you live
turning.
under a rock.
Yeah, literally, she's turning 250 this year, Miss America. And I got to see the big boy. And apparently, I only am also mentioning this as well because like everyone I seemingly know also had a big boy experience today when it passed through Ohio. This big, giant, long, I believe it's a steam locomotive, I think, with a whole whistle, like,
Mhm.
and you know, that's my impression of a whistle.
That was good. Yeah.
Thank you. And a bell. And I saw the train in Lorain, Ohio, and it was absolutely mobbed. It was mobbed. There were so many people, and every time the whistle would blow, a baby would cry. And there was like a food truck,
Hmm.
and I had some conversations with people, which was very interesting. And I will just probably leave it at that. But trains are definitely on the mind right now.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. But you know what else is on the mind, Liz? The environment as well.
Yeah.
And why I say that is because I'm going to give you a short preview of my story in the paper this week, which you can read again, emphasis on this week. I just want you to be holding your breath for the train story. But this time, we've got a story in the paper about the importance of birds to agriculture. And some people would probably have you believe that birds are no friend of agriculture. But I'm here to tell you that maybe you need to rethink that. Okay. Most farmers, they have enough to do without needing to think about how to contain their pests on insects, mice, things that are like nipping at their grain and then, cutting back their yields and then cutting into their profits. Can't be having that. But a woman named Julie Schwartz, like FAO Schwartz, the famous toy maker in New York City, executive director of the Ohio Bird Sanctuary in Mansfield, Ohio. She thinks that work, worrying about pests, is best left to a farmhand of the feathered variety. Okay. The sanctuary's philosophy is straightforward: care for birds and connect people to them, and then both wildlife and communities will come out ahead. In their education programs, the star attractions, you got screeching owls, you got talkative crows that will like apparently be able to hold somewhat of a conversation with you. So I was told. I didn't
Oh,
get
wow.
to yeah,
That's cool.
I know. I did not get to talk to the crow, but alas. There was also a really old bald eagle there. I did meet her. She was cool. And a peregrine falcon that apparently this one is not able to fly like this, but at their like top performance, they can like dive bomb at like 250 miles an hour. Like, I
That
don't
is
even know what that.
crazy.
This is my
Oh my
impression of the
God.
bird.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Anyway, so
Being slapped by the wind.
yeah,
Wow.
but it's like they're unfazed,
Yeah.
So these all animals, they're all being rehabilitated and they kind of live permanently here because they cannot exist in the wild due to injuries they sustained from being hit by cars. It's mostly a lot of vehicle collisions. Anyway, they are here to help people learn that when we share the landscape with birds, we as people can become better stewards of a healthier, more resilient natural world. So that's cool. Julie Schwartz, also a big proponent of farmers putting like nesting boxes for owls on their property because the owls will patrol the whole farm and then get the mice before the mice.
Oh my God. I would love to
Proliferate.
host an owl on my farm. Oh my
No,
God.
they were so cool. Yes. And they had a barn owl actually at the sanctuary, and they also had another owl as well, which was really cool. But the owls together will eat like hundreds and hundreds of rodents a year, which is
Will
like
they eat chipmunks?
I don't know. I would say that they'd be interested in the chipmunks, but like if they see a mice or mouse.
I need to look for a bird specific, like that specifically eats chipmunks.
Yeah. Oh, you have a chipmunk problem.
Oh, well, I did last year at the garden, and I'm preparing for the worst.
Okay.
So if anybody knows a bird that eats chipmunks and where I could get a bird that eats chipmunks, let us know. Comment please below.
Probably a hawk, which is also a
Yeah.
friend of the farm.
But how do
as
I
you
like
read the
keep him there?
article.
I don't want to cage a bird.
No,
I want
no.
to make sure it's an
Yeah.
environment they want to live
Right.
in.
They like nest in
Mhm.
I read a little bit about like where they nest specifically,
Yeah.
like and how they do it. I think you could make I think if a hawk found your farm suitable, it would live there and then it might cut down
Yeah.
their chipmunk problem. I don't know how to attract a hawk to any place,
Yeah,
but like if there is a way,
if there's a
yeah.
way, I'll figure it out.
Because I feel
you
like
know?
they'd be
Yeah.
like chipmunks. All right, that's what's
Yeah.
on the menu.
That's a yeah.
So anyway, in Ohio and beyond, birds are finally getting their due, being recognized as essential contributors to the rural economy, which is a role that scientists actually started quantifying more than a century ago. Okay, in farm country, all these birds are earning their keep by eating insects and pests that damage crops, that boost yields in a way that can substitute for some chemical pest control. Because we love to see us all cutting down on the chemicals. Okay,
Please,
better
yes.
living through
You
chemicals.
have
I think
no
not.
idea what's in those chemicals.
No, exactly. And then, yeah, that's pretty much my whole story. So you should definitely check that out if you would like to read about giving birds another chance, because some farmers have, I think, I think it's fair that they have some skepticism of the role of birds on a farm. But like, if you are not already making your farm work for the birds, you do not know that the birds will also in turn work for you. So that is the lesson to glean from this story,
Yeah.
which you can read in the paper this week.
I could definitely see some like problems with like orchards,
Orchards
know,
might be an issue, but
fruit.
believe
But
it
I
or
feel like
not,
again, there's ways that you can integrate both. Like
Right.
still protect your
Right.
crop.
because
while-
they might want to take a little taste of like your fruit, or like they'd be like, what's going on here? But they more than not, and they've just even discovered this in that study I referred to 100 years ago. They want to their sights are on the insects.
Yeah.
Their sights are on like the other thing. Like
Yeah.
the insects also want a piece of your grain. That's only why they're there.
Yeah.
But the birds are like, oh, hold on now.
Yeah.
A little teriyaki sauce and this mosquito.
Yum.
Perfect. Yum. Yeah.
I do know that when I visited Huffman Fruit Farm
Mhm.
last week, the owner had told me that the birds like blueberries specifically.
Oh,
So they do cover
yeah.
them up when they bloom. And honestly, I've seen that like every time I've picked blueberries,
Mhm.
they're always in some like enclosed space because
Yeah.
the birds really like blueberries.
I go a little crazy for blueberries too.
Same here. And but yeah, I mean, I think again, there's like ways maybe. I mean, he did say like peach trees are a difficult one. You can't really enclose peach trees, right?
Yeah.
So there are some like problems, but like in general, yeah, I feel like you could integrate both,
Yeah.
and while reducing
We all work
chemicals.
together.
Yeah, we can all work together.
Mhm.
That's what our message is this June, because you know what June is? It may be Dairy Month, but most importantly, or equally or very importantly, it's Pride Month.
I'm beautiful and my way will come back
Yeah.
I went to Pride this weekend in Cleveland.
Yeah, was it fun?
It was so
That's so
fun.
fun.
It was really, really fun. I made a whole lot of new friends. I met up with a whole bunch of older friends. I shouted a lot. I wore this wonderful little this little Fran Drescher number. It's a leopard print
Mhm.
shawl that has like tassels all the way
love.
around, and it just sort of billows in the wind.
Oh,
and it's
that's perfect.
so
Perfect wear.
so good. And then it was very humid. It rained for like 20 minutes, and then the sun just came beating back, and so it was like all like that whiplash. It was like, oh, it's hot. So it was like the perfect, and it's got like little kind of short sleeves, not like long
nice.
sleeves.
Yeah.
So it's like perfect for when it's like a little chilly, and then perfect for it's very breathable. So it's just kind of like it's great, very elegant. So anyway, leopard print is kind of my new thing now.
Yo, it's coming back in for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch the topic up.
Let's go.
It's gonna be a little interesting.
Oh, great.
So we have an AP story running in the auction section this week. So on June 4th, Ohio Attorney General Davey Yost re-indicted 2 fired First Energy Corp executives in the state's longest-running 60 million bribery scandal that ended in a mistrial earlier this year.
Oh,
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So this time around, there are 22 new criminal counts against Charles Chuck Jones, the Akron-based energy giant's former CEO, and Michael Dowling. It's one-time top lobbyist. So let's back up here. If you don't know what's already happening. So the case centers around a $4.3 million payment that First Energy made to veteran lawyer and lobbyist Sam Randozzo in 2019, right before he was appointed as the chairman of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. Prosecutors claim that Jones and Dowling gave him the payout in exchange for regulatory and legislative favors. This included helping draft and advance House Bill 6, which included a $1 billion bailout of 2 aging First Energy affiliated nuclear plants.
Wow.
Yes. Jones and Dowling aren't the only ones facing jail time, though. Already, former Ohio House Speaker Larry Householder, I think a lot of people recognize that name.
Yeah.
He is serving a 20-year sentence for his involvement to secure power, elect allies for the company, and pass the bill.
Wow.
Yep. 5 others were also indicted, including 2 of which who committed suicide before being sentenced. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yep. So according to the AP, who wrote the story, the retrial restated information while offering additional information that the judge excluded last time around.
Cool.
So yeah, that I'm sure we'll be getting updates about that.
Mhm.
But for more information, you can check out the auction section, or you're gonna have to visit the Associated Press website.
Yeah. Which you should do anyway.
Yeah,
It's
they have good
probably
news,
worth your
yeah.
time. Yeah.
It is.
Also, goodbye, Dave. Dave's last day was yesterday. I had to Google that.
Dave?
Dave Yost is no longer Attorney
Oh,
General.
I
of
know.
Ohio.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I was like, let me check because I thought he was like leaving.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's
Leaving
going
with a bang.
leaving with a bang and joining the Alliance Defending Freedom. I shouldn't have said it like this.
Yeah. Yep. Alliance
Anyway.
Defending Freedom. Yep.
But anyway, it's Pride Month. I'm getting away with it. I'm getting away with it.
Yeah.
So.
You can't insult us. It's Pride Month.
Yeah. So
You
bring
can't get
it-
mad at us
yeah,
either.
Okay.
Pride
Have
Month.
fun at the Alliance Defending Freedom. All right. Anyway, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give us something gross, Paul.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Okay, are you ready to get it's about to get
God.
squelchy in here.
Ew.
I don't even think that's
Why
a
do
word,
you say
but
squelchy?
it's
That's
just
like-
nasty.
That's like the
It's-
best way to describe a
Mhm.
gross
Is it-
thing.
yeah, it's gross. So here we go. Here's the newest thing. So I think every summer has a theme, right? So like summer 2024, brat summer.
Yeah.
Summer 2025, are we gonna die summer?
But
Summer
heat is hot. Yeah.
yeah.
Heat stroke summer.
Heat stroke
you know.
summer, nuclear Armageddon summer, 2026, summer 2026 is the summer of the screwworm. All right, so let me tell you. All right, the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service on June 3rd confirmed the detection of a New World screwworm in a 3-week-old calf located in Zavala County, Texas, which is a rural county in the Lone Star State's Rio Grande Plain. This is a flesh-eating fly larva, and it was found burrowing into the young animal's navel, which is gross as heck. And then we thought mayhaps that would be it. Well, that's silly because a second case emerged 2 days later in another calf about 6 miles away from the first detection. That was on a couple of days. By June 8th, today we're recording this, it is June 8th. This is Monday, okay? The tally of affected animals has now doubled and is now,
Oh crap.
where's
Wait.
the, yeah. So we're at 4 cases now. This includes a goat in Gillespie County, Texas, and also a dog in Lea County,
No!
New Mexico.
Oh,
Mhm.
sorry. It's a tough spot for dogs.
Yep, it is a
They're all
dog,
animals,
and
obviously.
it jumped states, so it crossed the border into New Mexico.
Oh no.
So that is the first
Oh, no.
screwworm
Oh,
case
no.
there. Yeah. Screwworm summer. USDA has launched an epidemiological investigation and is also inspecting other animals that share the household with the dog. Officials, it's not like a infection or a disease. It's literally just this insect that lays eggs in, I'm going to use the word orifices, or like wounds, like open wounds in animals. And I will tell you more about that in a second. But officials urge animal owners and animals, I guess, to check themselves, check livestock, check pets daily for wounds, maggots, lesions, and to report any suspicious cases immediately, changes in their behavior, just anything going on that might be, okay. Anyway, so here's the thing about these horrible insects.
Mhm.
So I don't know if anyone saw Alien Earth, which is a show. I believe it's on Hulu, as Ann Dowd pronounces it. And it is on Hulu, and you can watch it. It's live there now. It takes place in the Ridley Scott Alien universe. So like, the Xenomorph where the chest burster and then like all of that stuff. And it's like the the most perfect like predator or whatever and all that. So, and they're big scary aliens with tails that can cut people and all that stuff. Anyway, so in the show Alien Earth, the I think it's the Weyland-Yutani company. I love all of this like lore and stuff about I love the Alien cinematic universe. Um, there's like a ship that is transporting all these terrible creatures that they've collected from across the known universe and bringing them back to Earth so that they can do biopsies on all of these horrible things and then derive like medications or treatments or cosmetics or something or whatever from like these horrible, terrible creatures that are just like nightmare fuel. And I imagine that the screwworm would be one of those things that unfortunately gets out because that inevitably happens in this type of program. So it's a parasitic fly. It starts as a normal looking fly. They're all kind of ugly, and this fly is no different. She's no looker. But her life cycle is really gruesome because the females will lay eggs in, as I said earlier, in an animal's wounds or like a body cavity or something. And then when the larvae hatch, they don't go up and out. They go down. They burrow in. They feed on live tissue. Love that. The maggots, they've got apparently these little teeth, and they eat their way deeper and deeper into the flesh of warm-blooded animals and just sucking up everything they can like a spaghetti dinner. And then they just, of course, wreak havoc on the body. And there's not just like one of them. There's a bunch. So they're like crawling into you. Crawling in my skin. Isn't that Lincoln Park? That would be a fun cover band. Lincoln Park song. Causing severe tissue damage, of course, as you're eaten alive. And then without treatment, this can often prove fatal. So yes, screwworm summer because it is here. The government and the USDA is on it, and they're like dropping flies in the affected area, at least the initial one. The news about the new cases has kind of come through as press releases. So that's about the most that I know. I will try to keep an eye on things and see if they have like another press conference, like the one that I attended last week about like what they are doing about the, I mean, it's 4 cases. It's not like but we said that about COVID too. So remember when there was just a couple cases of that? I remember that. That was a few years ago. And I thought, well, it's probably not going to get much worse. And then everyone had COVID. Everyone but me. I've never tested positive for COVID. Fun fact about me. Never.
What you think?
I don't know. I probably had it at some point, but I never tested positive. But it's not that I didn't test though, because when I thought I had it, I would test, and I never had it.
Yeah.
So I just might be a very special guy. But you already knew that. So anyway, but that's that. That's screwworm.
Wow.
Screwworm summer starts now. So yeah.
Wow.
So anyway,
not much words.
It is treatable.
Say.
It is. Yeah, it is treatable. If they find it early, you can cure the animal of this horrible affliction. And then also, it does not endanger the food supply because this is not like a virus. It is just a gross insect.
Okay, well that's good.
So right, so you don't have to like go to the grocery store, right? Be like, ew.
I'm gonna take this time to say you need to read the troop again.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, I'm so happy you mentioned this. I saw something dangling from the. We have a lot of leaking ceiling tiles, and there's something kind of hanging from that one ceiling tile in the corner, which you cannot see, and I'm not good. But anyway, it looked like a fly. And I was like, it's already here. But like,
the screwworm is in the building. Run!
It would happen here, but it's
Oh my
not.
God.
So anyway, but yes, I thank you for mentioning that. I'm so glad you mentioned that because I just started reading again, like for pleasure instead of like for work purposes or doom scrolling purposes. And I am like I'm inevitably going to get through The Stand by Stephen King, which I left originally at like page 400 out of 1100, and now I'm at like page 700. And it's like,
there you go.
We are getting through it. So once I finish this, I'm definitely going to start the troop next, which I guess is another kind of screwworm horror like story.
Kinda, yeah.
In the
related
style of
a little
screwworm.
bit like in humans and a lot grosser and visually disgusting. So
can't wait. It's gonna be, it's gonna be really cool.
Everybody read the troop if you didn't get enough of the screwworm and want more. Read the troop.
It's screw. The name is direct because it screws into the like a screw.
Thanks for that visual,
Yeah.
Paul.
And it's
Appreciate
just
it.
maggots.
Yeah. It almost reminds me of the Scooby-Doo episode when there's like that worm that like travels underground and it screws himself into the... Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I think
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. So
yeah.
anyway,
Ew.
all right. Well, we're gonna move on from the screwworm.
Yeah.
One final story for you guys.
Great.
So Tammy Gingrich is back on the front of our rural marketplace
Yay,
this
Tammy.
week with a story about dragonflies.
Oh, cool. A good insect. We like them.
We like them.
Yeah.
Well, we all know Tammy is a writer. She most recently was a babysitter for her friend, but she wasn't pet sitting your typical animal.
No.
She's actually pet sitting a 3 millimeter dragonfly nymphs.
Oh.
Yes, her friend Linda is a dragonfly expert, and after finding dragonfly eggs, she let them hatch in an aquarium on her home, and that's how Tammy ended up babysitting them. So there are multiple and different species of dragonflies, which Tammy will go through and talk about all the different ones, all of which start as nymphs, spending the first part of their lives underwater. Females lay eggs on rotten logs, placing them in spongy wood or drill them into the stems of emergent vegetation. So that's how the eggs, come to be. And while in the water, the nymphs feed on insects, and as they grow, they shed their skin up to 15 times.
Wow.
Kind of wild, right?
That is wild.
So to care for these nymphs, they definitely require, I wrote this all wrong. Anyways, basically, Tammy was a bit stressed about, caring for these nymphs because they require an eyedropper or two of pond water each day that contains tiny microorganisms to be able to. All right. So anyway, as I was saying.
Before we had a technical
difficulty, guys, they sound a bit like a meticulous type of babysitting work that Tammy had to do. But fortunately, she was successful in babysitting the nymphs, and one day they will shed their skin again into their adult forms. And there's actually a picture of this, and actually really a lot of good dragonfly pictures in the rural marketplace section.
Nice.
That accompanies the story. So you should all check them out because it really is quite fascinating. Yeah.
I love dragonflies. They used to be in my backyard a lot in my house I grew up in. And they're really pretty.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They really are.
And they're just kind of like chill. They're also very chill. Well, there's a lot of, as we've discussed, there's like murder insects. Like the screwworm is kind of like a I will kill you insect. And the dragonfly is like what is that? The capybara of like the insect world, it seems like, because I don't know a lot about them, but it just seems that they just are sort of peaceful creatures that just sort of like, I'm chill and I'm beautiful and I'm just hanging out. They're kind of like the Zara Larsons of the insect world.
Well, if you want to learn more,
you
can read Tammy's story.
Yeah, that's a good.
But it is a good story. She talks a lot about just like their lives as nymphs, and the different varieties, and really, actually, to me, I love the pictures. I'm a very visual person, so the pictures are really awesome. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, that's the top stories this week in the paper.
You are so welcome, by the way. You never thank us, but you're welcome. We're happy to do it.
Yeah. So to read the full stories, guys, you can go to farmandairy.com or you can find a local newsstand somewhere around you. To pick up a print copy. Yeah.
Oh, can I just say, leaving off, this is a part of my bird article, actually. So a gentleman was in the songbird aviary where all the songbirds are kept, and you can go into the aviary and put like they give you a little food to hold out, and you can put out your hand with food and birds will come and eat it out of your hand. That's how it's supposed to work. It almost didn't, but it did. I had some kind of, I forget off the top of my head what the bird, but I had that experience. Snow white coated. But anyway, I talked to this other gentleman. I took his picture because he had the same experience with this bird that I did. This one bird was like, I will be taking all of the worms, the freeze-dried worms that are in your hand. I will be eating all of those. Thank you very much. And I was talking to him and I introduced myself as a farm and dairy reporter. I wasn't wearing my press pass at the time. So I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I just took your picture. I'm not just like a random stranger. I actually was hoping I could use this in an article. And his wife was just like, we love farm and dairy. And I was like, yes, because that's always good. And they let me use their picture, which is very nice. But also, so shout out to them. And thank you for that. And that is really cool. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, check out that picture too, guys.
Yeah.
You can. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
So long, farewell to you, my friend. That's it.
Okay, bye.